more continuing coverage of the long-haired Mac Daddy's disastrous train wreck of a state visit to India. The Mac Daddy has the worst judgment of any politician I have ever seen. And what has happened now? The Mac Daddy's India visit marred by invite of a BC man named Jaspal Atwal, convicted of attempted murder. So MP takes responsibility for inviting this terrorist to reception as Canada's PM, aka the long-haired Mac Daddy, addresses screaming headlines. So I'll read this article from the Crooked Broadcasting Corporation, also known as the CBC. It was clear early on Thursday that Justin Trudeau, the long-haired Mac Daddy, his Indian agenda had been derailed. While posing for a photo at a mosque in Old Delhi, an Indian television reporter shouted to the Canadian Prime Minister, "Why did you invite a Khalistani terrorist for a reception?" And it gets worse from there. The Canadian media had held off shouting at the Prime Minister at the mosque because it was a place of worship. You see, this is the thing that I don't like about, certain people from the West, Canadian, whatever. So they're in a place of worship, and the Canadian media, "We don't want to offend this place of worship, so we won't shout anything." But the Indians are shouting! The Indians don't give a crap. It's their place of worship, and they shout like motherfuckers. They don't give a crap. The Canadians, who aren't even Indians, "We don't want to offend." The Indians are shouting. This is the thing I don't like. You see the Indians are shouting, so you shout with them. They obviously don't care about the place of worship, so go on. But that détente ended at a later photo op when the Prime Minister visited a school to play cricket. Oh my gosh, I'm crazy sometimes. As Trudeau strode across the cricket pitch with his children, he barely came within a football field of the media, who reportedly shouted questions about how Jaspal Atwal could have ended up on a Canadian guest list. Shouting questions across a cricket pitch is now how things normally play out at an official prime ministerial visit, but it's what happens when the Prime Minister's office initially says it won't change the schedule to answer questions about an explosive story. So even the CBC is getting bright with the Prime Minister, and that's good. This Mac Daddy is so reckless, is so stupid, is so much of a fool. This guy is a Sikh extremist. He belonged to a terrorist organization. Atwal was convicted in 1986 of attempted assassination of an Indian state cabinet minister. Indians, unlike Canadians, take their country seriously. They have pride, and that's good. I've gotten a lot of Indians who are giving me all these messages. When I said India was a third world country, they fight, and I'm right. I am right, but I admire the Indian for fighting me. They love their country. They take pride in their country, and they will fight you for their country. So when you now come into the country and you invite a terrorist who tried to kill one of their government leaders, this is just going to make India even more angry. And they're already angry with Trudeau. They're snubbing him, and it didn't make it any better when he went to India trying to dress like an Indian and shake it like an Indian. This guy, for the past few days that he's been in India, has just been eating Indian ass for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He just wants to make the Indians he is losing his self-respect. If this guy likes Indian so much, I know a great Indian restaurant in Hamilton, Ontario, he could go to, and it's a buffet. He can have all the Indian food he wants. This guy is just kissing Indian ass. and it's making Canada look silly. He goes dressed like an Indian doing this all day, and no other leader does this, and the Indians are laughing at him. Not only is he insulting their country by kissing up to Sikh terrorists, who, that would be like the Indians coming to America or Canada or Europe and kissing up to ISIS. I mean, it's disrespectful, but now he's almost insulting them. Some people call it cultural appropriation by dressing up like an Indian and trying to act like an Indian in an attempt for them to like him, and it just looks pathetic, and the Indians think it looked pathetic, and so they treat him like the fool he is. They don't show him any respect because he doesn't have respect for himself or his country. But on Tuesday night in Mumbai, he was posing with Sophie Gregoire Trudeau as well as Canadian cabinet ministers and MPs. This so-called Sikh terrorist named Jaspal Atwal. So it emerged Wednesday, thanks to the CBC's Terry Malesky, a CBC reporter, that Atwal had been formally invited to a Thursday night reception at Canada House, the official residence of the country's High Commissioner to India. That invitation was swiftly rescinded once the CBC broke the news to the PMO. So the CBC, Canada's state-run media, is breaking information to the PMO. So the PMO, the Prime Minister's office, they don't have advisors or counselors telling them, hey, this is a stupid thing to do, inviting the Sikh terrorists to India, a very proud country, and you're inviting someone who tried to destroy the country to India. This is a bad move. The state broadcaster, CBC, has to come out and say it. This PMO is so mismanaged, and the PMO is Prime Minister's office. Saying PMO is like saying the White House or 10 Downing Street. The PMO is so mismanaged and disorganized and chaotic and foolish. It's run by a bunch of clowns, by a bunch of losers who don't know anything. It's making the country look bad. Perhaps the most frustrating part of this controversy for the Canadian delegation is that it was self-inflicted. CBC News reported that Atwal was invited to the reception at the request of Liberal MP Randeep Sarai, one of 14, I don't know if I pronounced that name correctly, and I really don't care, one of 14 MPs who paid their own way to take part in Trudeau's official state visit. So, I mean, you know, you're inviting a guy convicted of terrorism for killing somebody, assassinating somebody. You know, he obviously hates India. I mean, he's some kind of rebel. He hates India. He hates the Indian people, trying to kill off their government members. And the Mac Daddy says, who cares? Come on this trip, you know. Or he doesn't say who cares. He doesn't know because his PMO is so badly mismanaged. It's run by a bunch of morons. The Liberal MPs, they're all a bunch of morons. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, it looks bad. Maybe that's why the Mac Daddy's going there looking so pathetic, dressing like an Indian and shaking to Indian music, dancing so out of tune and out of step. You know, I don't know, maybe he's trying to sound like an Indian. He's trying to act like an Indian to say, oh, please like me. I'm so sorry. I'll give you a trade deal which will put Canada give Canada a $500 million trade deficit with your country. Will that make you like me, India? Will that make you like me if I totally destroy my country's economy by writing a terrible trade deal with you? Will that make you like me? If I dress up like an Indian and put on Indian headgear and dress and all this stuff, will that make you like me? Will that make you forgive me? Boy, oh boy, this is such a disaster. And even the CBC is reporting on it. But there will be more continuing coverage of this disastrous Indian train wreck of a visit once it comes out. But in the meantime, this is the Arana Nation, and I want to remind you once again that you can watch the Arana Nation not just on YouTube, but on BitChute.com by going to www.bitchute.com BitChute.com, and once you're there, in the search bar, put in Arana Nation, and boom shakalaka, you got the Arana Nation's videos. Subscribe to the Arana Nation on BitChute.com as well as YouTube. I know a lot of my BitChute fans are watching this very video on BitChute.com right now, but the majority of my viewers are on YouTube. So BitChute is just like YouTube without the censorship and all that other liberal PC bullcrap. Without all that, so, it's there as an insurance policy in case YouTube wants to just destroy the Arana Nation, take down the Arana Nation. The Arana Nation is 10 steps ahead of YouTube. So I advise you, and they're demonetizing a lot of my videos, but I don't do this for money. I do this to spread information, number one, and to give my views on events happening in the world of politics, entertainment, and business, even though lately I've been doing a lot of political videos. So, go to BitChute.com. If you don't have an account with BitChute, I advise you to get one. It's just like YouTube without the censorship. And then go to the Arana Nation on BitChute and subscribe to the Arana Nation on BitChute.com. This is the Arana Nation.